Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. This episode comes out on 45 separate Game Boy carts. Look east in woods, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society looks east with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as I am always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, including everything that came out of Pokemon Day, or at least everything that we are even remotely interested in. There are a lot of things that they talk about in a Pokemon Day.
Yeah.
Pokemon Presents.
We will...
This is most of it.
Most of it.
We're going to talk about those new starters, I tell you what.
That's right.
And then on Thursday, we are concluding Resident Evil month by talking about the latest entry in the Resident Evil series, Resident Evil Requiem, with Resident Evil superfan Mikey McCaller. But in the meantime, Mark, how's it going?
It's going great. I can't believe Resident Evil month is already leaving us.
Come and going, it seems.
Yeah. Wow. Time really does fly.
Here's the thing, though. I got to say, I've had a great time in Resident Evil month.
Yes.
It feels like the whole thing has been a tease to the release of Resident Evil Requiem, and I feel I'm still very early in the game, but I feel wholly satiated by a month's worth of teasing myself for like Resident Evil, new Resident Evil, new Resident Evil, and now it's here.
Yeah. No, I am also having a ton of fun with it.
We'll talk about that more a little bit, I think, in what we've been playing, but not so much that we step on what we would be talking about with Mikey on Thursday. How's it going, Mark? Did I say this already? Did I already say how's it going?
Yeah, it's going great.
Okay.
It's going good.
I'm sorry.
Things are good, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll keep asking until I get an answer I like. If people would like to hear us yell at each other, you can check out patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society, where if you are supporting us to the 8 or 16-bit levels, you get access to our once a month episodes of miniseries like NCS at the movies.
Yes, where Patrick, myself, and usually a special guest are going to the movies together in the theater and then talking about it. We just released an episode all about Scream 7 with special guest Kelly Nugent.
Yes, and though the episode came out on March 1st, that is our February episode.
That is our February episode.
Because the movie came out in February.
That's right. It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
And so you should definitely go check that out. We also have content available at every level on the Patreon, including for free. So there's no reason not to join.
In fact, there are reasons to join, like discussions with us. Another thing that you could do to both witness and participate in discussions with us is you could join our Discord. Email us, Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. I will send you an invitation. You get in there. You chit-chat with us. There's a Indie World Showcase later on today, as of this episode's posting, that we'll talk about in a little bit. If you want to talk about that with us in like a chat room setting live as it's happening, Discord is what I'm describing.
You could do that.
You could do that. I like Mark started like shaking his head when I was describing what Discord was. Was it because
I think it's helpful.
Because I was like miming typing.
No, I think it's super helpful. I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it just needs to be demystified for some of the olds.
Sure, like ourselves.
It needed to be demystified for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We put it off for so long, and now I can't imagine life without it.
I literally cannot imagine life without it. There was a little bit where it's like, oh, is Discord going to be scanning everyone's faces all the time? We're like, what do we do? What is our life if we have to give up the Discord?
Right. I guess we start like a message board?
I think what we do is we start a phone tree.
Oh,
right?
That is, of course, what we would do.
Yes. One person has to call 4, and then those 4 people call 4 more people.
Yes.
And then you know what time to pick up the kids when they get back from the field trip.
Exactly. You know when a Nintendo Direct is happening.
And that's the only way that you could ever possibly know. Also, Mark, we don't have this in like our news or anything, but we are now a month away from the release of the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
Yes.
A pretty insane metric right there. And also, as of today, the day that we are as of the day the episode releases, we're 9 years after the Switch was released.
Wow.
Isn't that nuts? We are going into the 10th year of the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Anyway, just things I was thinking about, and which you may hear us or read us posting about on the Discord, which is like a chat room. We got
And if you're not familiar with the chat room,
yeah. Now for the youngs.
it's an online forum where people. It's kind of like Discord.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
like Discord before Discord.
It's like if Twitter were only your friends.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Except you can do it in real time.
Yeah, you can do Twitter in real time.
I guess so, but there's no like icon to say like I'm chatting at you.
That's true. That is true. Yes. So it's like texting with your friends.
I mean, look, if people want us to do an entire Patreon miniseries where we discuss how things on the internet work or what they look like,
right?
We can do that.
Or what they used to be,
or what
like.
they used to be.
Even better.
Yeah.
Maybe better qualified for that. We'll do an ABCs of Discord at some point. We got a debug from Charlie. Charlie, who was on our previous episode where we ranked the protagonist from the Resident Evil series. Charlie texted me to say that he was wrong about something he said on the pod. Mark, are you ready for this?
A self-debug.
A self-debug. Charlie writes, I said Ada kills Chris in Resident Evil 6, but it's the opposite. Ada kills Chris's whole team, so he's out for revenge on her. Eventually, she has her gun on Leon to take some kind of virus from him, G or T or whatever, and Chris shoots and kills her with a sniper rifle from a helicopter, but alas, it's not the real Ada. It's an evil clone of Ada, and that evil clone killed his whole team. Evil clone Ada, lol.
Oh, very good.
Which, should we have included evil clone Ada on our list of...
Well, I don't think you ever play as her. So...
Sure, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Should we have figured her evil clone into her ranking?
If we had known, maybe.
If only we had known. And then lastly, just want to shout out that I, of course, was on Video Games, a comedy show this week to draft Virtual Boy games in the Virtual Boy Space Solace. Space Solace, the format whereby we, a handful of people in the Super NPC radio community are drafting games from a library. Usually it's a library like the Nintendo 64 or PlayStation 3 or something with the Game Boy.
A cornucopia of games to choose from.
Yes, there were 4 of us drafting 5 games each. At max, there are 24 games for the Virtual Boy, if you consider international releases and 2 games that have not yet been put out into the world. So we had a great time. Previous guest on this show, Michael C. Hearn, was on that episode to draft Virtual Boy games, and of course Connor and Jeremy, who are on every one of those episodes. So we had a very good time talking about Virtual Boy games. And yes, at the end of it, I had the gall to say, now for honorable mentions, because I was not done talking about Virtual Boy games.
What a gift Virtual Boy continues to be.
I mean, truly. I'm having a blast. The world finally wants to talk about Virtual Boy with me.
That's right. Oh my gosh.
It's been bottled up inside of me for so long. All right, Mark, let's get into what we've been playing this week. Before we start talking about Resident Evil Requiem, or the little bit that we're going to talk about it today, I do just want to shout out that, of course, I'm still playing Fire Emblem Awakening for the Games Club, and I am very frustrated with the game right now.
Oh, yeah.
A game which I love and love interacting with, but it has become so... I'm playing on hard mode, permadeath on. Last week I lost one of my characters. Gregor is gone.
Oh, poor
Gregor, he had recently gotten the S relationship with a wyvern rider named Cherche.
Oh,
Churchy?
I don't know. Yeah, Sherry.
Maybe Cherie, maybe because it's a little bit French anyway. Yes, it's probably a Cherie. But so I can recruit their child, but the father is now dead.
Oh, he's super dead.
He's super dead, and is never coming back. So anyway, I have 2 chapters to play for tomorrow. I cannot get anywhere near the end of the first of those 2 chapters because it's just so hard. And so I spent like every like spare minute today grinding out like the fights between the actual chapters, and buying the reeking box, which is how you summon more like
Okay.
zombies onto the map to fight. And
Whoa.
just
Okay. I
just
mean, we don't have to dive into that.
we don't
too
have to dive
deeply,
into
but,
all
like,
of it.
No,
And
no, no, no. I'm just so curious because I didn't know that was a mechanic, and that sounds awesome. But I don't want to derail us too much
yes,
by diving into
asking
a
about it
discussion
more.
about. Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, there is like a little bit of discussion that I do want to have about it, because my instinct when playing the game previously on normal mode was anytime I would use a reeking box, be like, okay, now I throw my like weaker units in there so they can level up and sort of like
Sure, yeah.
come up to the same level as my main guys. And my main guys are strong, right? But they're just not strong enough to steamroll a map. And I don't not even like steamroll, like I'm being very careful as I
Yeah.
play. But like I'm not used to needing to grind for my tough guys. I'm used to like, having to fill out the rest of the roster with more tough guys.
So how does it like? What can you do to level up your characters at this point? Like, are there a bunch of side missions, things like that
So
you can engage
sort of.
with?
Here's the thing. So there are all the paralogs where you recruit the children characters, the time traveling children characters, but those are hard.
Right, right.
So there's a handful of them that are like manageable, and I've done a couple of those. Recruited maybe 4 child characters at this point. But some of them are like end game level difficult, on the hard difficulty. So I'm using the reeking boxes, and I'm waiting for them to just sort of appear on the world map, because they will do that as well, and just grinding out, and trying to. I still toss in like a weak guy or two, so I can like I really want to. There's Donald. I've talked to you about Donald before, right?
I don't think so.
Donald is a villager character who, when you first recruit him, is level 1 and incredibly weak, but he has a skill that allows him like a much higher percentage to increase his stats on a level up. Like everyone has a certain percentage. His is like double. So every level up makes him more powerful, but he starts off incredibly weak. And kind of the goal with him is to get him to level 15 of the villager, so he's gotten both of the skills from being a villager, and then you reclass him to something else. And so those villager classes, or those villager skills, are very useful to bring forward, but man, it's a chore to keep him in the villager state during that growth. And I'm just about to the point where I'm ready to switch him over to like mercenary, or one of those sort of classes, and can like start to truly wreck house with him. But he's more of a liability right now than an asset, and I can't wait to flip the switch on that. But also, I should be leveling up my main guys, and I'm spending so much time like kind of babysitting Donald, that the game is just proving to be hard mode permadeath. Fire Emblem Awakening is testing me.
Yeah, that sounds really complicated.
It is, and I both like strategically complicated and emotionally complicated. Let's talk about Resident Evil.
Okay, yeah. The little bit that we can, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much at this point, but other than Mark, you are obviously playing this on your Nintendo Switch too. Yes?
I know that you were hoping to get a physical copy for PlayStation. Did you just end up buying it digitally on PlayStation?
I did just end up buying it digitally on PlayStation. I went to the Best Buy on release day with friends of the show. Who all was there? Connor was there. Matt Apodaca was there. July Diaz was there. And I didn't have one pre-ordered, but I was like, they gotta have like one, and they did not have one. So
yeah, seemingly like sold out in physical versions on all platforms.
Yeah,
like, everywhere.
Really quite strange. But then I just went on my phone and bought it on the PlayStation as it was downloaded and ready to play by the time I got home. Super convenient, very fun. But and I assume that you did the whole like legacy pack, or what's it called?
Yeah, I honestly can't remember what it's called.
Generation.
Yeah, generation pack maybe, but yeah, it was for like $90. You got Requiem 7 and 8 on Switch 2.
Yeah,
or on
Village.
Switch.
Yeah,
Switch 2. So yeah, anyways, I bought that. My system like a week ago, a little bit more at this point, was like, great, all three of these games are available to you. I'm going to start downloading them now. And I was like, no, you can't. I don't have the space. I just have to prioritize
Yes.
Requiem. Yes, and I've been playing actually entirely in handheld mode.
Oh,
I've been playing
okay.
entirely in handheld, and I am so something really kind of funny in playing Requiem is that because I've been at this point almost a decade of just playing Nintendo games.
9 full years.
Yeah, yes, exactly, exactly. I have not really been in the AAA gaming space. And so this is
Yes.
the first like third party, like AAA new release that I have played day and date, not like a late port or anything. And it is crazy the how much better game storytelling is
Yes.
after like 10 years of growth than it was the last time I picked up a like a AAA game like this, because I'm genuinely invested in the story. I think the acting is good. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
and this is a whole new world to me.
The acting is good. The writing is good.
Uh-huh.
The game seems superbly aware and in control of its tone. Like it happens more often than I was expecting that they kind of kick you back and forth between Grace and Leon.
I would say that slows
Or
down a little bit, but
probably, yeah.
yes, yeah.
But in the early go, like it really is like, here is a, sort of like psychological horror scenario that is built on like slow burn creeps, and then like immediately like snap back over to Leon, who is like running and gunning down the street and like being cool. It's kind of it's masterful.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible that the two work as well as they do. When I have not played 7 or 8, I initially was like, I don't know, maybe I'm going to play the gray sections in third person cuz that'll make it feel like a Resident Evil to
Sure.
me. But I didn't, and I'm so glad that I didn't. The first person really makes it tense.
I absolutely agree.
Because
Yes.
it
I'm
really
doing the
does
same thing.
change
Yeah.
your like perception, or
Mhm.
um yeah, your perception of your surroundings, and so it makes everything feel creepier, and also like because your view of the area is so limited, I think it makes it more challenging as well.
Yeah, well, and like they're really it truly is like you walk into a room, or like there's a hallway to your right, and you like look over there, but then because you're in first person, and while you're doing that, you can no longer see
Right, anything could be
what's ahead
happening
of you.
behind you.
Anything could be happening behind you or in front. There are also, especially early on, so many parts of the Grace scenario where like the lights are off or they're flickering,
Yeah.
and it is hard to see, which like I know you can put that into a third person perspective thing, but it feels more like a natural limitation when you're in first person, because you actually can't, the whole screen is just black, and
Mhm.
you're like, I look out my eyes but I see nothing.
And there's a part where that's happening where even though there is something beyond the darkness, the game doesn't let you
Yes.
proceed. If you
Yes.
try to continue down that way, it's just like it's too dark. You can't tell what is there.
Yes.
And it forces you to go back until you find a light source that you can like carry with you. I don't know. I'm really loving it. It feels like everything I want out of a Resident Evil game.
I know.
And I'm early, so totally it could fall apart,
Sure.
maybe it's too much to sustain, but the reviews don't seem to think so, so I'm just having a ton of fun with it.
Between that and a game release that we will talk about in the new releases, I feel like we're having like kind of a moment right now of like some pretty exciting games coming out. So yeah, Resident Evil Requiem is definitely one of them. I cannot wait to get home and probably play more Fire Emblem Awakening, but then get on to playing Resident Evil Requiem.
Right, yes.
But yes, we will obviously be talking more about this on Thursday's episode. Mark, let's get into the new releases.
Okay, let's check in on Nintendo Music. And yesterday, the Kirby Air Rider soundtrack from the Switch 2 game was released, all 114 tracks.
It's a lot of tracks. The game is packed with content.
Yep. And I don't know that there's a bad Kirby soundtrack in the world, and this is not one of them. Plus,
there's not a bad one, and this is not one of them.
Uh-huh.
This is not one of the bad ones that there isn't.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Plus, Nintendo also published an interview with Masahiro Sakurai and the composers of the game on their website.
Oh, that's nice. Have you looked into the interviews at all? Like,
I saw that it existed. It's
Very
on my
good.
phone to read, but I have not read it myself.
I am excited to check those out. Just like, it is always a feat of just like logistics and creativity in a Masahiro Sakurai game. Just a period, I guess, end of sentence. But especially where music is concerned, as there are so many different arrangements of, really just like a handful of tunes. How many different Kirby songs are there? 10?
There's probably more than that. There's been
Really?
a lot of Kirby games. I think so.
Okay, but they all. I
I mean, it has a few.
It's in
well
all
known-
of them.
Yeah. No, I think it's really I like that they have published this interview. Even though I haven't read it yet, but I like that it's like we've had
Yes.
asked the developers before. And there are people from the sound team and stuff like that, but rarely. I don't know. I can't think of another time off the top of my head where it's like, no, we're just doing a deep dive with these composers.
Yes.
And it makes you wonder. It's like the power of Sakurai. Was he just like, I want to do this?
I think he
So,
must be interested
yeah.
in it too. Like because every Sakurai game also does the sort of like omnivorous arrangement where it's like you will hear pieces of music that sound like rock and roll, that sound like pop, that sound like classical, that sound like all these different genres crammed together or separately. And it just like the sonic identity of Kirby is all things, and that takes a vision and a lot of creative people working together to do that. It is not dissimilar to like the Mario Kart World soundtrack, which is also like chock full of the arrangements of the same like 20 tunes over and over again, but different enough to feel exciting. And yeah, I gave Mario twice as many songs as Kirby.
And then today, March 3rd, Legacy of Kain Defiance Remastered is released on Switch and Switch 2.
Which is something that we saw on the State of Play, the PlayStation State of Play the other week.
Yep, that's right. And then also Scott Pilgrim EX is released.
Which sort of snuck up on me. Scott Pilgrim DX is a sequel to the Scott Pilgrim versus the World game that came out on like PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 all those years ago, right around the time that the movie came out. And like it's sort of based on the comic book series, and this one feels like it is sort of its own sequel story, maybe taking some cues from Scott Pilgrim's Takes Off on Netflix, and any sort of refinement to the beat 'em up gameplay from the original Scott Pilgrim game would be most welcome. I'm very excited to try this game out. It is not just a like EX version of the original Scott Pilgrim. That's sort of like a winking like acknowledgement of like that's a style of game title, right? It's just calling something EX. But this is not that. This is a brand new game from a lot of the same developers. So I'm excited to check that one out. I don't really know when that happens. Between head ramming into Fire Emblem shaped wall segments, possibly I will play some Scott Pilgrim EX.
And then on Thursday, March 5th, Pokemon Pokopia is released.
Yes.
Another
one.
These reviews, incredible.
9 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Basically, that's it. It's getting good reviews, which, I don't need to sit on my throne and gloat, but
You called it.
I called it kind of immediately.
Yeah.
That I was like, this game rocks, or it looks like it rocks. And I was surprised at the time to not be, like alone in that. That other people were like, I don't know, it's a weird looking, he plays a Ditto. What's going on there? And I obviously haven't played it at all myself yet. But I'm very much looking forward to really digging into this one.
Yeah, it was one that, just because of my general kind of like lack of knowledge about Pokemon, I wasn't that excited about. But I agree with you that like it looked interesting. The previews came out and were pretty glowing, and now the reviews are out and are saying, generally the consensus is that it's great. So yeah, I don't know, but I also feel like if I pick this up now, when am I going to play it?
Right.
Because I Requiem. I
Uh-huh.
still have the new Paranorma site game. I still have Final Fantasy VII Remake
Yeah,
to get back to.
which you have
So
to play, Mark.
I know, and especially Rebirth is just a few months away as well. So, like that releases in June.
Okay, June is like it's a
Gonna be
quarter
here
away.
before we know it. But yes, yeah, I do think Pokopia has the potential to be one of like an evergreen title for the Switch too.
And possibly system seller. It's
Possibly,
Switch 2
yeah.
exclusive, right?
Yeah.
I think it is possible that, especially because as we will get to in the news section, Gen 10 is a year away or more, right? Like probably a year and a half away. So like the Poke Freaks in the meantime, if they want to play a brand new, seemingly state-of-the-art, cozy Pokemon game, they got it in Pokopia.
And then also on Thursday, there are 2 more Kirby Air Riders amiibo coming out: Meta Knight and Shadow Star. Oh, just one. It's just
the one. It's the one
just
package.
The one.
The Meta Knight and Shadow Star.
So we're still waiting for Chef Kawasaki, right?
We're still waiting for Chef Kawasaki and the who's the other one? Who's the other one that's there are 2 of them, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm gonna have to look it up. And we don't even have release dates for them.
I don't think so. Yeah.
So it's King DDD is the other one.
Oh, sure.
So I forget if I talked about this on the show. Stop me if I did. But so these amiibos are big. They're 2-part. There's a dude and a thing that he rides on. And you can swap them all out. So like I'm looking forward to having one more thing to swap between my guys. I pre-ordered this from Best Buy when it was first announced, which was before the game came out, if you recall. And the price point on these amiibo is $50, $49.99. Fine. A lot of the this is also right around the time that all of the other amiibo were being like crazy marked down in stores, especially around the holidays, where they were like, yeah, those champion amiibo, or they're not champion, the Sage amiibo from Tears of the Kingdom that we sold for $30, you can get them for 11 now, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I was starting to feel a little squirrely about it, and then other retailers were like, we're going to sell this for $45. And so I reached out to Best Buy customer service to be like, hey, I'd like to do a price match with my pre-order to the lower price. And including, that's the price that Best Buy was saying on their website that they were going to sell them for $45, even though I had already locked in the pre-order for $50. Turns out Best Buy policy is that if you pre-order something and it releases at a lower price, they just charge you the lower price.
Oh, that's
so
great.
I didn't need to.
Oh, that's good. I was
Yes.
worried that you were winding up to like a customer service slog,
Nightmare?
like trying to like
Right, no.
get them to. But that's great.
No, it was instead I was on a rampage that I need not have been on. Best Buy was looking out for me. But very interesting.
That
right?
is really interesting.
That like they set a price point and either saw that pre-order interest wasn't there
Right.
or what, and we're just like, $5 off.
Yeah, that is really interesting. A similar thing has happened with maybe I'm remembering incorrectly, but didn't they also cut the price of those Mario Galaxy amiibo? Like, didn't those also become $5 cheaper in their pre-order?
Possibly, yeah.
I think. Yeah, I don't know if that was just like a special, like if it's currently that way, but I feel like that happened a few weeks ago.
No, I think you're probably right. And those are amiibo that I had pre-ordered and canceled.
Right, because the Wonder ones are
Because the Wonder ones are better.
better.
And I could get all 3 of them for less money than the 2 of those.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So is this where you're? I guess because we don't have release dates for the other ones, they haven't gone up for pre-order yet. The Kirby Air Riders,
Right.
But do you think that the Meta Knight and Shadow Star is where you'll stop with the Air Rider ones?
I don't know.
Fair enough.
I will see if I get any joy out of the Meta Knight one. The Kirby and Waddle Dee ones that I have currently are not tucked away in a box. They're out on my shelves.
They look good.
They look good.
Yeah.
They look like sort of premium toys. And so they're like bright and colorful and like all the things that a Masahiro Sakurai game is full of. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how long I'll stay on this train. We don't have release dates for them yet. So
Yeah.
that probably won't be a decision I have to make for a couple months.
After playing some of Requiem, do you have any interest in the Resident Evil Requiem amiibo?
Here's the thing. They both look bad. Right?
Yeah. I wonder what they're standing on. You know how they all amiibo have?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah. Wonder what
Yeah,
they're
what are they
standing on.
standing
An
on?
umbrella logo?
Corpses?
Corpses, maybe.
It is interesting because like the aesthetic of Resident Evil and Resident Evil Requiem is photorealism, right?
Right.
Like that's what they're attempting. And I just don't necessarily think that translates that well to, because even something like Solid Snake, like the Snake amiibo from Smash, is stylized a little bit.
For sure.
He
Yeah.
doesn't look like a real person.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I just think it's a little. It'll
Yeah.
look
Here's my statue
Right.
of a woman.
right.
Here's my statue of a man in a leather jacket.
Who's holding a gun?
Yeah, who's holding a gun? Yeah. Yes. Fair point.
But who knows? Maybe I play through this game a little bit and I'm like, oh wait a minute, it's my favorite thing ever. Feels maybe a little weird to have the amiibo for a game that I bought on PlayStation.
Also a good point.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
It's definitely just me making excuses. But any excuse not to buy an amiibo is a good one. All right, Mark, let's get on the new releases. Which brings us to a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or a group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of the show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance, 433, Mark and I'll talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, we've been swimming in Scream waters for a little bit here in the lead up to the release of Scream 7 and our NCS at the Movies episode about it. So we thought maybe we would take this opportunity, having seen all the movies, to do a BuzzFeed quiz to determine which Scream character you are.
Perfect.
And we'll do this sort of like collectively, but I think you'll be like the lead on answering the question.
Okay.
If there's a point of conflict.
Sure.
This quiz, by the way, was posted on February 22nd of this year.
Okay.
So it could be any of the Scream characters, save for the characters from 7.
Okay, fun.
Okay. It's Friday night. What are your plans? Movie marathon with friends, throwing a big party, investigating something suspicious, working on a creative project.
Probably movie marathon with friends.
Movie marathon with friends, I feel like is a good solid one. All right. Pick a horror movie trope. The final girl who survives, the clever detective, the comic relief character, the mysterious new person.
I think the final girl who survives is the most fun of those.
Yeah, I think that's the most fun. It does just say pick one and not like which do you identify with.
Right.
Comic relief character. Okay. Final girl who survives. Great. What is your role in the friend group?
Okay, here we go.
The loyal one, the leader, the fun one, the creative one.
Oh, probably the loyal one.
I think that's probably right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. What's your biggest fear? I'm sorry to ask you a question like this on our lighthearted show. Losing the people I love, not uncovering the truth, being alone in a crisis, not being taken seriously.
Oh, interesting. We'll go with losing the people I love.
Wow, okay. Very good. Choose a weapon to defend yourself.
Ah,
Random household object.
okay.
My martial arts skills. Something blunt and reliable. Or my wit and knowledge.
Oh, boy.
These are bad choices.
Something blunt and reliable,
I
probably.
think that's right.
Like-
For me, that is my wit and my knowledge. Someone suspicious is at your door. What do you do? Not answer. Check security cameras. Call for backup. Answer, but stay alert and ready.
Oh, I think the thing is, it doesn't matter in the movies. It doesn't matter what one of those things you do.
Yes, right.
But I think I would call for backup.
I think that's a good call. Call for backup. Remember when my doorbell rang as you and Kelly were leaving yesterday? It was like a child,
Yeah.
like canvassing with like his dad standing on the street.
Yeah.
Strange. I opened the door, told him to leave. Okay.
Well, it's kind of hard not to when like the three of us are
we were
standing
all
like
standing right there.
Yeah.
All right. Pick a survival strategy. Trust no one and stay vigilant. Gather information. Stick with the group. Know the rules and follow them.
I think stick with the group.
I think stick with the group is right. You are definitely not a trust no one and stay vigilant.
Yeah, I don't think that's
You're
me.
gonna trust someone who's gonna hurt you. What is your biggest strength? Resilience, intelligence, loyalty, creativity.
Let's go with loyalty.
Okay, great. You did already pick yourself as the loyal one,
Right,
so it's consistent. How do you feel about sequels?
Okay.
They rarely live up to the original.
Uh-huh.
They can expand the story. They're fun, but not as good. Or pass.
I'll do the second one. They can expand the story.
They can expand the story, the most positive one.
That doesn't really feel like how I feel about them. It's more just factual about.
They can expand
Yeah.
the story. It's true. Choose a career path, Mark.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Medical science, journalism, law enforcement, or butcher.
I mean, I guess journalism.
Sure. You might have to write for that.
Right.
How do you deal with trauma? All right, we're gonna dismiss this because we are finishing this quiz. How do you deal with trauma? I seek therapy and try to heal. I throw myself into my work. I lean on my family and friends. I study it to understand it.
Oh boy. Let's say I lean on my family and friends.
Men will literally lean on their family and friends to avoid going to therapy. What is your approach to romance?
Okay.
Cautious. I've been hurt before. Passionate but complicated.
Okay.
Committed and loyal to the end. Or hopeful romantic.
What was the first one?
Cautious. I've been hurt before.
Let's go with I guess loyal. Let's go loyal.
Committed and loyal to the
Yeah.
end. Okay. Pick your horror movie education level. I know nothing. I got the basics. I'm a frequent watcher. Or I am the expert.
I guess I'll go with frequent watcher.
You're a frequent watcher. Okay, great. Final question. Here we go. What's your ultimate motivation? Living to see another day, revealing the truth, keeping others safe, or being remembered?
I get the first one.
You living to see another day?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
great. You are Chad Meeks Martin. You are loyal, protective, the ultimate team player. Like Chad, you're the friend everyone wants in their corner when things get tough. You balance strength. No, I'm not going to subscribe. You balance strength and heart. You're not afraid to show vulnerability. You've got a great sense of humor and bring levity to dark situations. Your dedication to your loved ones is unmatched.
All right. That's not too shabby.
That's not bad at all. All right. We were accompanied, and it is funny that it was probably all in the how do you feel about sequels question.
Probably.
Can we give him a Screen 5 character? Is that okay? Will he ever click on a BuzzFeed quiz again? We were accompanied today by pianist Kyle Shaw. All right, Mark, let's get into the news.
Let's start by talking
What do you
about...
think is the difference between the getting Chad and getting Mindy?
Oh, Oh, do you mean in the questions?
Yeah, what do you like? What question?
Oh yeah, maybe
She's
like
a little more ambitious,
maybe a
right?
little bit more ambitious. Maybe like the thing about the rules, because she's always the one
You're right. Yes.
that is in like 5 and 6. She's the one, and I guess 7.
Yeah,
She's
she
the one
brings
that
it
like
up in 7.
lays
Yeah.
out the rules.
Right.
Yeah,
No spoilers for Scream 7 here.
right.
Check out our NCS at the movies. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Okay. So first things first, Nintendo has announced an Indie World Showcase for this morning, March 3rd at 6 a.m. Pacific time, which means by the time you're listening to this, it's probably already happened. It's only supposed to be 15 minutes long, so I don't think either of us are expecting anything huge, but we'll definitely talk about it next week.
Yes. No point in speculating right now what we might see there, as it is likely that you, the listener, will either be watching this thing shortly or have already seen it. So.
Agreed. But let's talk about last week's.
You mean the Hollower release date?
Possibly. Are we doing the thing we just said we weren't going to do?
Yeah. No. We move on now.
Last week's Pokemon Presents celebrated the 30th anniversary of the franchise with news and reveals. Most notably, we got our first look at Generation 10, Pokemon Winds and Pokemon Waves.
Yeah. Cool.
Releasing 2027, but let's put a pin in that. We'll come back to it.
Bink.
So in the reveal, there was like a little like cinematic before we got any gameplay footage, and at the end of the cinematic, there's like a pair of vacationing Pikachus.
Yes, a pair of like vacation swinger Pikachus that one boy, one girl wearing like vacation gear. Right? Like she's wearing a two-piece bathing suit and a baseball hat. And he's got like a Hawaiian shirt and like safari hat kind of thing going on. And then it kicks off.
Yeah, but I just want to say we found out that their
Yes.
names are Wind Chew.
Yes.
That's the boy one, and Wave Chew, which is the girl Pikachu with the baseball cap.
Now, in the last couple Pokemon games, the different versions have had like mentors that are specific to the version. Are the Pikachus the mentors?
Oh, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think
Okay.
this is just like for fun.
Okay. I mean, maybe I think it's possible that you're getting like a vacation Pikachu as your mentor.
Like yeah. I mean, that could be super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So of course, important with any new Pokemon generation, the new starters.
Yep.
We have 3. We have a grass type bird named Brout.
Mm-hmm.
We have a fire type dog named Pombon,
Perfect.
and a water type gecko named Gekwa.
Yes. Mark, do you have like as you see these? First of all, I gotta say, Pokemon so good at being like, and here are the like simple drawings of like cute little animal creatures that you are all going to know in your heart and like understand forever. They join the pantheon of incredibly compelling, simply designed starter characters, and I feel like they nailed it.
Yeah, I feel like these are good. I like that the fire type dog and the water type gecko, they have like very, I mean, I guess the grass bird does as well, but like Pombon, its face is shaped like a flame.
Yes.
And Gekwa has like a water drop on its forehead between its eyes. And then Brout.
The Brout is a little like it's he doesn't look like a plant necessarily,
Right.
but his eyebrows do look like
They're leaves.
They're leaves, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's Pombon for me.
I think Pombon for me too. I think that Pombon is sort of like the home run of the group. I think the other two are also very cute, but like the fact that he's not just a dog but like clearly a Pomeranian,
Yes.
is so specific and funny.
I wish that Brout had a little more detail.
Brout feels a little too simple to you.
Yeah.
Brout, I feel like he invites non-favorable comparisons to Rowlet.
I agree.
And Rowlet is an all-timer. And so like I think Brout falls a little bit short of that. But Pombon for me, like that may be one of the best fire starters.
And I like its little like like tuft of hair at the bottom of its
Yes.
face.
Well, and then it's got some like red under that
Uh-huh.
there where it's like where more heat is generating from that or something. It looks cute. They look cute. They're good looking Pokemon.
We also saw quite a bit of the region. We don't have a name for the region, but I saw on IGN today that they had an article that was basically like collecting people's reactions to it, and they were saying that it seems to be based on Southeast Asia with elements from like Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Philippines spotted in the trailer.
Yeah, definitely. Like has a sort of like tropical or semi-tropical island environment. We are seeing a lot of water, including a camera like going underwater.
Yeah,
And seeing it teaming with Pokemon there. So yeah, I mean, it seems like a fun place to run around, and the graphics looking. I mean, who knows? We're seeing a something not actually from the game that's coming out a year and a half from now.
right.
The pin is still in that. And it looks beautiful.
Switch to exclusive.
Sure is.
And let's talk about that release date, 2027. So that puts it 5 years out from the last generation, from Scarlet and Violet,
Yes.
which is the longest they've ever gone between like generations.
Yeah, I mean that's a little tough just as because Pokemon wasn't always a simultaneous worldwide release. So I think there are probably some regions that have been about regions in the real world where the time between releases of generations have been that long, but never globally like this before.
One of the things that we've talked about a lot is Pokemon being on that 3-year generation cycle, partly because it's like their target audience is kids, right?
Yeah.
And so having multiple generations when they are still in the age, like they want to hook them, and
Right.
so it makes sense. And
it's kids old enough to read and play a video game on their own, but not so old that their friends will tease them for being dorky about Pokemon.
right. So let's say
Yeah.
you picked up Pokemon when you were like 6.
Right.
Right, that's your first generation, and then when you're 9, you have a second generation,
Right.
and hopefully that's enough time, in their mind, enough time to like really get you hooked.
Right. Or, like you're 6, so like who knows if you're like playing a game that's already 2 years old. The main goal, I think, is to, in the period where the kid is most engaged, to release a new generation so that they can discover them for their own. If you like started playing Pokemon, if you were like 8 or something, and you started playing Scarlet and Violet, like within the year that it came out or whatever, then you're 13 now, or in a
Right,
year when the next generation comes out, and that's sort of like tipping past that edge, right?
But I wonder if because I think that's true, and that's why they focused on like 3-year cycles for so long. So what makes them comfortable with 5-year cycles now? Is it are they comfortable doing it, or is it like Pokemon is pervasive now? Like, there are so many mobile games.
Yes,
there are
the card game, I think, is bigger than it's ever been. Like it is since COVID been a real thing of like when new cards come out that like scalpers are like going to like get them from those vending machines. You see Pokemon card vending machines in grocery stores. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're just sort of ubiquitous, and I feel like between that and Pokemon the Card Game Pocket on phones, that like the card game has become such a huge player in that space that like yeah, it is just culturally relevant in like a game mode that doesn't necessarily have to be the mainline.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think that's has to be a big part of it. I also think they just have so many other like Pokemon things going all the time that are available on like mobile. Like there are a lot of like mobile games, and they just released Pokemon Legends ZA. So they have like so many other things.
And Pokopia comes out on Thursday.
Right. That maybe they feel more comfortable having this like 5-year development cycle. Plus maybe they're taking feedback from, the last few generations that had a lot of like negative comments on performance.
But particularly Scarlet and Violet, right? Like, Sword and Shield is like kind of a limited game with only like some small open world areas. And like I don't think like the main complaint around Sword and Shield was that it didn't run well,
I think you're
right?
right. Yeah.
It is really with Scarlet and Violet, and I feel like they just knew that they couldn't do that again. They couldn't put out another game like that.
The thing that's so funny is like I I wonder how much. I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
somebody from what was it from like the Pokemon Company came out and said like we hear the feedback,
right.
but Scarlet and Violet sold
I know more than Sword and Shield did.
right. So
Yeah.
it's like I don't. Is it like an internet echo chamber thing? Because clearly it did not affect the like performance of the game.
Yeah, I mean, neither of us put. I mean, you didn't pick it up at all. I put very
Yeah.
little time into Scarlet and Violet. Their Pokemon is just not really our game. But like just about every corner of the internet where I like was getting people's Pokemon opinions, that people were like, "This game runs terribly. It's so fun."
Right.
That like it's bad, but I love it anyway. And I think that is like just the narrative of Scarlet and Violet. And if they can take it's bad, but I love it anyway, and just turn it into it's good and I love it anyway, or it's good and I love it, that like they could, that then it can be the reason to get a Switch to. It can be the Pokemon game of the I'm gonna say the generation. I don't even mean like the video game generation. Like it could be
Right.
like a monumental thing. So, and of course, we'll just have to wait and see. Real crapshoot with Pokemon games.
Well, the other thing with 2027, my first thought, just because it's the 30th anniversary, it would make so much sense for 2026
Totally.
to have a new generation. Do you think there's, and I don't even know that I believe this myself, but do you think there's any chance that they're like, do you know what, let's just get out of the way of GTA 6? Like, why do that? Like, why even bother?
Yeah, I mean, possibly. The Venn diagrams don't seem to me to overlap that much. I know everyone is sort of assuming that everyone is going to play GTA 6, but like I'm not. I'm also probably not going to play. Probably not going to play this Pokemon game. So like maybe I'm a bizarre sample. But yeah, maybe they're getting out of the way of because it's also GTA 6 right now is staked out for like mid-November, right?
I can't remember where it landed now. I feel like it might be earlier than that, but I'm not sure.
I think it's November. Just which is where Pokemon usually lands or has historically the last couple of years. So yeah, I could see where they wouldn't want to put it out on like the same week. But I don't know, you just move it around a couple weeks.
I guess also
they're both going to be perennial titles, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess in my head, for whatever reason, maybe because I was assuming it would come out in 2026, I'm thinking like, oh, this will be like a March 2027 release, but that doesn't have to be true. I guess it could be a November 2027.
Oh yeah, I assume
release.
we're not going to see it till the end of the year.
Oh wow. But
G-
that seems so far away to announce it then if it's not out for like.
I mean, I think so. I think but I think for the 30th anniversary, they wanted to like build hype for the next thing, and also it's been so long,
right?
And it's going to be a long time until the new one comes out.
I don't
Mark
know.
doesn't buy it. He thinks
I don't. I
out.
just think it's too. I think it's too far out.
I think it's either summer or holiday.
Yeah, totally could be. I mean, that would be like traditionally.
Yeah.
Like holiday is traditionally the Pokemon time,
right? Or at least in the last couple generations.
Yeah.
GTA 6 is coming out November 19th of this year.
Oh yeah, prime Pokemon time.
Yep.
So yeah. Also, Switch to exclusive.
Yes.
A little bit surprising, maybe, just because there are so many Switches out in the world.
Yeah, and well, maybe part of waiting till 2027, either the middle or the end of it, is hoping that there will be more Switch 2s in the world at that point.
And I guess historically, if you look back at the like Nintendo 3DS and the Switch, 2 years is about when they got a like light version of it in the 2DS.
Yeah,
and then the Nintendo Switch Lite. So
it is interesting because like my first instinct is like, oh, it seems like they're hopping on Switch 2 support early. But no, they're just talking about it.
Right.
They're just talking about it early.
Yeah, that's
knowing
true.
that it's going to be a long time.
I feel like the other part of this is of the release date being 2027 is this has led more people to be like 3D Mario this holiday.
Oh, sure.
And
3D Mario doesn't get out of the way of Grand Theft Auto.
I don't think so.
Um, I guess
That'll release in October. It'll probably come first.
right. Yeah, good point. The other thing to consider with the new Pokemon game being switched to exclusive is that like we're not being held back by the weaker hardware,
Right.
which is always kind of like because there is a possible universe where they would have done a Switch 1 and Switch 2 version, but like I guess they already did that with ZA, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So-
And also, again, being 2027, I guess we don't know what Switch
Right.
support will look like next year, but I mean, the Switch will be like 12 years old.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and it really is like, when do we expect to see the last new Switch game? Right.
I initially thought that it would go on longer, but I'm beginning to think that I think maybe you said this that Rhythm Heaven might be the last.
Rhythm Heaven might be the last one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's probably right.
Anything else we want to say about Winds and Waves before moving on?
No, I like it. I think it's very interesting. I'm excited to see more about this as they trickle it out over the course of the next who knows how long.
Yep. Let's see some other stuff from Pokemon Day. Pokemon Champions got a launch window of April this year on Switch and Switch 2, and then later in the year on mobile.
Cool that we got although not a date, a release window for this of April. I was sort of expecting it closer to the end of the year.
Right, because I mean, as of right now, I don't think that we have any really like Pokopias coming out, and then there aren't really any big Pokemon like projects for later in the year.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, Champions just a couple of months away, and then they also talked about Pokemon Home support coming to Pokemon Legends ZA. No date for that yet, but also confirming that Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green that just got released on Switch will be getting Pokemon Home support as well. Also not dated.
I suspect both of those will get their home support around the launch of Pokemon Champions. Because that's when it's going to be like most relevant to be able to put the Pokemon you've been playing with recently into a Pokemon battler.
Yep.
So that's my suspicion.
And then for ZA, the Mega Garchomp is now in the Mega Dimension DLC.
Which just interesting to note that they are adding stuff to the Legend ZA DLC.
Right.
Which I guess like all Pokemon games always have a little bit of this like living, always being updated kind of thing, but just sort of strange.
We also learned that Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, which was a GameCube game, is coming to the GameCube Nintendo Classics on Switch 2 in March.
Yep, and it's March now, but we don't know when exactly.
Yes.
They did not date
Could
it.
happen at any moment.
They just said March.
Sign up for the phone tree.
Yep,
and
that's
somebody
right.
will let you know
what time to pick up your Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness from the Nintendo Classics library. This game was in the initial reveal of the GameCube library, so we've known that it's been incoming for a while now, but we have a narrower target than sometime in the future.
They also announced a really surprising, interesting product called the Game Boy Jukebox Pokemon Red and Blue. And what this is a tiny Game Boy like replica that plays 45 tunes from Pokemon Red and Blue. And
each piece of music is on a separate blue or red Game Boy game cart.
Yes, and like on the game cart on like the side that would go into the system, so like not facing out, is like a printed image from a Red and Blue that makes it look like a Game Boy screen.
Right, and presumably that matches up with the music that it is playing.
Yeah,
from this thing. When this trailer started, it sure looked like they were going to sell a mini Game Boy that played Red and Blue, which would have been amazing.
Yeah, totally.
And that's not what it is.
No, it's kind of. I think it's cool as a thing.
Yes.
I don't like the one like song per cart of a Game Boy soundtrack sounds
Yes.
excruciating,
Yes.
but neat. Not
Very,
practical, but
very
neat.
neat, not practical. I feel like Nintendo, and by extension the Pokemon Company, is in their not practical but neat era right now. This thing feels very Talking Flower. It feels very Nintendo Sound Clock Alarmo, where it's just like, oh, what? But also kind of cool.
Kind of cool. Like to have one like on the shelf or whatever, neat. 70 hard to do right now, $70.
Yep.
Currently sold out.
Yes.
Currently unavailable, but this is a neat looking piece of kit, even if it's not the most practical.
Yes.
And as is want in a Pokemon Day presentation, they also announced a bunch of updates to the mobile games like Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Unite, Pokemon Masters EX, Pokemon Sleep, Pokemon Cafe Remix. Somebody pointed out online, and I hadn't thought about this before, but somebody pointed out that Pokemon Go is 10 years old.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's been like
Pokemon
a
Go to the
third of
polls.
Pokemon's life.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Pokemon Go has existed, which feels crazy to me. Just because it feels like it's like such a newer part of it, but a full third.
Right. So most children that are playing Pokemon now, most young people that are playing Pokemon now, have had Pokemon Go in their lives.
Yeah, lived in a world where
longer
Pokemon Go
than they
always
haven't.
existed.
Yeah. Which is also true of Donald Trump, that they've had him in their lives for a huge fraction.
We'll focus on the Pokemon
We'll focus
Go
on the Pokemon part because
Yeah.
that's what the podcast is. But yeah, it is that's very interesting. I absolutely love during these mobile game updates that they're like celebrating the franchise's 30th anniversary and the 6.5 year anniversary of Pokemon Cafe Remix or whatever. Is so funny to me.
The next item comes from
Done with the Pokemon Presents.
With the Pokemon Presents.
Yes. A sort of quick presentation, maybe like 20 minutes long.
Yeah, all things considered. But fun to have like the new generation confirmed.
Absolutely.
Fun to have like more information about that to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
The next item comes from games journalist Jeff Grubb, who recently responded on his show to a fan who asked a question about Gran Turismo 7 and the possibility of it becoming multi-platform in the future. Grubb responded in part saying, quote, "I heard recently the Gran Turismo was running on the Switch 2. I don't think it's going to come to the Switch 2, but I heard it was running on it." End quote. Now, as a corollary to this, last week, Bloomberg Games reporter Jason Schreier and several other outlets that then corroborated it said that he heard that Sony was moving away from PC releases of their first-party exclusives, which is something that Sony had been dabbling with for the past, I don't know, like 5 years or so, where they would do late ports of like first-party Sony games on PC.
Which let's try to add this all together, especially in light of the developments in the Xbox world in the last couple weeks, and all on the heels of Xbox seemingly going multi-platform with a lot of their first-party releases. If PlayStation is pulling back on their porting of games to PC, what does this all mean? Where how do these pieces fit together?
So I think the speculation
Yes.
is that because the reason I brought up like the moving away from PC part, I think that just is further indication that Sony they're not looking to actually put Gran Turismo 7 or any first party game on Switch 2 or anything like that.
Sure.
So then it becomes like, well, why do the exercise? And the speculation there's been a lot of rumors about the PlayStation 6, or that Sony is like working on a new PlayStation handheld, or even that the PlayStation 6 could offer a hybrid model like Nintendo does. So maybe they're testing out the scalability of some of their existing games on like current like hybrid hardware. You know what I mean?
And maybe just seeing if like the specs of the Switch 2 would be enough for whatever the next generation PlayStation Portable is.
Right.
Yeah, I think that is that's pretty likely. And it'll be fascinating to see what like how PlayStation approaches a next generation just in general.
Right.
Because like they've been so sort of down the middle in all their home console stuff, and not really veering into strange territory, like even kind of safer than Xbox, right? Like Xbox got all like connecty in one of the generations, and like tried to change your like the player's relationship to the machine, but PlayStation has been kind of staunchly like this is the thing you play games on. And like they've released a handful of handhelds, but never really in a way that's like kind of broken through. PSP sold a ton, but largely as a like vehicle for game piracy and emulation, right? And the Vita was a very like niche market thing. Um,
But I think the world of handhelds has changed so much.
totally.
Like that's why I tend to believe, I guess I'm not that well read on the rumors, but it makes more sense to me anyways that PlayStation 6 would offer a hybrid version. Then it makes sense that they would release a dedicated handheld, unless that dedicated, because let me finish that thought
Yeah.
first. Only because like the last time they released a handheld was in a world where like it made sense to have dedicated handheld game developers.
Yes.
And even Nintendo was like, you can't do that in anymore, right? That's
Right.
why the Switch exists. Let's have all of our development teams working on one piece of hardware,
Right.
because that's the only way you can keep up with like releasing games for a system.
Right.
It's like you have to have everybody working on that one system. So I don't think but I guess what Sony could do is PlayStation 6 is still top of the line, but then they have a cheaper hybrid or portable version that plays PlayStation 5 games. You know what I mean? So it's
but
like
not PlayStation,
but not
6
PlayStation
games.
6.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder. I wonder about that. I do feel like the whatever they do next. I just feel like unifying the systems is always the way to go, and not creating more like bifurcation between them.
Right.
Which like and then when you do release a game that is like sort of cross generational, that like you need to like Nintendo has done, just like fill up the box art with an explanation of like this is the PlayStation,
Right,
this
right.
is a Switch 2 game. It only does this, blah blah blah. And which is just ugly and confusing. So yeah, I don't know. I almost feel like if they do, like PlayStation 6 as a like home console, and then there is also a version that has like a screen thing that you can take with you and has its own memory on it, so you can store maybe not all of the games that you would have downloaded to your PlayStation 6, but like some of them can live on the handheld part of it. Would make a lot of sense, and then still be able to like stream back to that specific console.
So I think that's the question, is like, is it at that point, is it just like the Portal basically?
Well, sort of, except like the Portal has no memory on it, right? If the Portal had enough memory and like RAM to run a single game, or like one or two AAA games, it would be a totally different device.
But the Portal doesn't have like the brains. It doesn't have the guts.
That's right. Right.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, maybe that makes more sense than having two different systems, because it's not like it really worked for Xbox. And I know a handheld is different than like an S and a
Oh
X,
yeah,
but,
sure.
Having a more powerful and a less powerful version out there at the same time does not seem like it's been a winning strategy. Although maybe if Sony, tried it, it'd be more successful because of the they just have more brand credit.
Yeah, could be. Well, and also just like brand credit in like making weird little devices, right? Like that is a Sony thing. Sony's part of what puts them on the world stage is the Walkman, right? And so if they can do something like that for gaming, that it could be totally relevant, right?
Yeah. Finally, Limited Run Games is planning a collection of 6 retro Konami Marvel games called the Marvel Maximum Collection. Includes games from the arcade, 8-bit games, and 16-bit games. So the games are X-Men, the arcade game, confirmed with rollback netcode.
And this is the classic 6-player X-Men arcade game the one that when you see it in the arcade is like 2 screens side by side to create like an ultra wide screen. And does the cool thing of like one of the screens is actually a mirror reflecting a monitor that is like pointed up at it, so that it seems like a continuous screen. Really, really cool. And I'm certain they won't, but it would be cool if they had a way to like emulate that effect on your TV.
Also included is Captain America and the Avengers, the arcade, Sega Genesis, and NES versions.
Which cool that there are multiple versions of some of these games. I really liked the Captain America and the Avengers NES game. I've never played the Genesis or arcade versions, but they seem like totally different games, possibly.
Yeah, I don't really know how this works, and I don't have any familiarity with these games because some of them, like the Spider-Man / Venom Maximum Carnage, that has an SNES and Sega Genesis Mega Drive version. It's like you can switch between the versions while you're playing. So they must be
those games were basically the same.
Oh, okay.
But just, like the Genesis sounds one way and looks one way, and the Super NES looks and sounds another way. And I mean, you remember the Maximum Carnage being a huge deal, right? Coming out in the red cartridge.
No.
Oh man, I just remember thinking it was like the coolest thing. But yeah, those games are basically the same in a way that Captain America and the Avengers, I don't think are.
Oh, okay. Venom / Spider-Man Separation Anxiety, which I guess is the reverse of that. Did both those games come out at like the same time or something?
I mean that's a Venom Spider-Man Separation Anxiety is a sequel to Maximum Carnage. I do think it's wild that Venom got top billing over Spider-Man in one of these games. The 90s, man.
Spider-Man / X-Men Arcade's Revenge has an SNES, Sega Genesis, Game Boy, and Game Gear version.
Cool.
And then finally,
obviously those games aren't going to be anything like each other.
Right.
So, yeah.
And then finally Silver Surfer for the NES.
Which seems like it's a little bit of a like side-scrolling shoot 'em up kind of like spaceship shooter, but you're the Silver Surfer. A cool collection of games. And one that I will be interested in checking out. I guess following my own rules, Spider-Man / the X-Men. Spider-Man gets top billing over the X-Men. Does that make sense to you?
I feel like yes, just because I think Spider-Man for a long time has been like probably their most popular character.
So what would there have been a period in the 90s where it would have been Venom / the X-Men? That Venom would get first billing over the X-Men? Because he got first billing over Spider-Man.
I wonder if they did that only because it's like they were being cute, right?
Sure.
Spider-Man / Venom was the first one, and then the sequel is Venom / Spider-Man.
Maybe
like a Tekken cross Street Fighter and Street Fighter cross Tekken.
It could be like that. One of those we never got.
Yep.
We only ever got the Capcom one. All right, Mark, that's the news. Let's get out of it. All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Remember, join our Discord, and if you want to hear an explanation about what that is, go back to the beginning of the episode.
It's like a chat room.
It's like a chat room.
And a chat room is like Discord.
I mean, tautologically true, Mark. Email us, we'll send you an invitation. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying thank you for listening.